purpose, and profit. And I'll let Duane take it away.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Duane Jones. So, yeah, I see some familiar faces in here. It's great to see some Instagram people in real life. Spend too much time with it. So basically, I kind of do a lot of different things. So I think it's become easier for me. I don't really like titles anymore, so I just say Duane Art Pacing. So this whole talk is basically going to be about how I came from kind of being lost and searching for meaning in a lot of ways, and to eventually coming to realize that it's not necessarily as black and white as some would have. So that's why purpose and profit, because I kind of feel like we need to have both in life. So I'll take you to about 2010. This was a lot that was happening in my life. I was 29. I was starting to freak out a little bit. No, I wasn't 29 at that point. Gee, I'm aging myself. I was a little younger than that. I was about 28, 27. But this was a time when I started to just realize that big 3-0 was coming. And I hadn't hit a lot of the goals that I thought I wanted to hit in life. I had this business, Glitterati Communications, which still exists actually. It's a graphic design business where I freelance out of. And I was basically just trying to do something useful with my design skills. But in the same token, I was also pursuing day jobs and working a day job, and kind of in that balance and trying to figure out exactly what makes sense for me. I was also at a point where I was realizing I was lacking my origin. So my origin story is that basically I'm an artist. And I went to art school in Bermuda, I went to NASCAD here, and I was kind of losing that. I lost interest in actually making art anymore once I really got interested in design. So I thought maybe my frustration with Glitterati Communications and working as a graphic designer was because I was no longer expressing myself as an artist. So I just picked up paint and said, let me see what comes out. This is what came out. I was also starting to think that maybe it wasn't fine art that I wanted to do. I started to write. So I wrote for UGS Mag. It's a online hip-hop magazine out of Houston. And I basically I was reading a lot of blogs about music at that time. I was starting to read blogs about fashion. So the one at the top is a magazine based in Bermuda, and Mel's is a hip-hop artist in Bermuda. It's my friend Mo. So this thing right here is called Future Glitterati, which is very interesting. So basically the whole premise of the Future Glitterati series was I was picking out people who I thought were going to be the Glitterati of our time at some point. And my business being Glitterati Communications just kind of made sense. So Mo was one of those people. I wrote about her, and I also recorded the conversation. So kind of a precursor to podcasts before podcasts were really popular. This was one of the first t-shirts I designed out of my business. So again, I was just interested in fashion, just trying to play with different ways of expressing myself. And it came out as this t-shirt. That symbol is a peacock, and that's what my original logo kind of represented. It was initially. And the reason for it was, it was like this idea of, anyone familiar what the meaning of glitterati is? Okay, so glitterati are like the leaders in society. They're people who are the thought leaders, they're maybe celebrities, people like that. So the whole premise of my business was I'm going to make my clients the glitterati. So I threw this peacock on these t-shirts, and I was trying to go for this luxurious feel, I suppose, but still with that street aesthetic. But all while this was happening, I was still working my day job as a graphic designer. I actually worked at Dalhousie University. And I was getting extremely frustrated with the design industry. And I started to think that maybe art doesn't pay, and maybe it's a dream, you know? And I started to pursue a master's of information management while I was here. During that time, I had a newborn baby, I had a 2-year-old baby, and I had a business with clients. I also started to dabble in all these different creative pursuits. It was a lot. The idea of balance was kind of eluding me. But I had this whole like succeed at all costs. I was so super driven at that point. Something about that hitting 30, I was like, I'm not where I need to be. I gotta get here. And then looking at my kids and saying I need a legacy for them, it was a lot. Oops. Yeah, so, and also like throughout that time, the whole branded merch thing and the reading that I was doing, the content that I was consuming, it led me to think, you know what I actually need to do is start a clothing brand. Maybe that's my purpose. I started to look at some of these things online. I was like, I could do that. I think I could do that. That makes sense. And it became the Big Glitterati clothing brand, which is another takeoff of my business's name. And yeah, what it ended up being more so was, I'd say, it's just a creative outlet, more of a hobby. So I was just designing things that I thought looked cool. I hear a lyric in a song, I put it on a t-shirt, and it was a lot of fun. It was creatively fulfilling me, actually. I really enjoyed it. But I kind of hit a point where I needed to figure out what I was doing with this thing. I still had the masters that I was working on, and there was a lot going on. I was listening to a lot of this guy's stuff, Gary Vee, and I was like, you know, still just in that hustle at all costs, sleep is for the weak and all that kind of stuff. And I wasn't sleeping, you know. It was super important for me to be a dedicated father and husband. So I would do all of this work when the kids were in bed. Like I would do, yeah, which is it's insane. But that, to me, that was important. That was more important than anything else. So it was just a lot of hustle. So what ended up happening was, this is another painting I did probably around that time for the pre-shrunk show at the Argyle Gallery. I didn't realize this was a self-portrait at the time. It's just what came out. But I was putting myself under way too much pressure. I wasn't forgiving myself. I was depressed, and I didn't even know it because I was so high functioning. And I'm just a chill dude in general. People didn't really notice, but my family did notice. They're like, you're angry all the time. You never sleep. You're frustrated. You keep saying that you have to do this and you have to do that, but you don't have to do any of it. And I was just like, they just don't understand. They don't have the hustle. They don't know. They don't want to be, you know, they don't want to do what I want to do. So this was a tough time for me. And what ended up happening was I finally did seek some help. Turned out the whole time I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Had no idea. And it was like, but in a lot of ways that was that's probably one of the best things that happened to me. Because it helped me understand why I felt so much pressure to do so many things. And I was lucky that this doctor was able to recognize it, you know, because I didn't have the typical symptoms because I'm so laid back in general. But it gave me the perspective to see how important it was to take care of myself. But I still had these big goals that I wanted to achieve. So it was always this struggle, like how do you do both? So